Hi there, and welcome to this quick overview of the AI Assist Manager. This is where you come to manage all of your prompts that work within AI Assist. Up at the top here, you can see that I have my existing prompts. These are called the prompt profiles, all the entities that I can build a prompt to work from. And then down at the bottom here, we have something called the Kyloe created prompts. This is a library of prompts that we will continue to add to, where you can come in and you can test a prompt out. So you can see here, we've got the create a job advert. I can try it out by giving it a ID number from Bullhorn, and it will show me what that result would look like. If I want to then add that to my system, I press this plus button here. That will add it into my prompt profiles up at the top, where I can then refine it, make any edits and changes that I need to for my own purposes. Okay. Other options within here, if we look at a prompt on the vacancy, for example, something nice and simple, such as creating a job advert. See here, this is my prompt, and we've got a couple of areas that we can edit and change. So first of all is the area in which the prompt is built to work from. So for this one, it's the vacancy. We give it a name, so what appears in the title in the front end, and then a very brief overview of what we want it to do. So write a job description. Obviously, if you only give it that context, it's not going to work very well. So what we then use is this additional context box, where we outline exactly how we want the AI to process the request and what we want the output to look like. Scrolling down here, we can see how we've got that. We've even asked it to refine its final output before presenting it to the user there. And then we've got these options here. So AI works really, really well if you tell it to act like something. So here we've said it can act like a recruiter or a marketing manager, but there's lots of other options in here, and you can also add to these drop downs with basically anything you want. Tone of voice, I want that to be salesy, so it is locked to salesy. I could add some other options in there if I want to. The format output HTML tags. Now what this really means is it just means that when you copy that information out of the prompt, out of the output, it's not then going to just bunch up into a single block of text. It's going to keep the correct formatting. But another use case for this might be if I wanted to write this as a LinkedIn post or an email, or I want it in bullet points. All of that there can be added as drop down options. Result length speaks for itself. Explanation difficulty. Now, biggest use case for this would be to use technical or non-technical language. Sometimes you might have a really, really technical role, but you don't want it advertised in such technical ways using technical language. So we could use it to be simplified or non-technical there. And then the beauty of AI is it works really well with different languages. It's not like Google Translate used to be back in the day. It's much more progressed than that. So we've got all these different drop-down options here where we can have different languages available to the user. We then have some other checkboxes for removing bias and anonymizing the output of the prompt. And then we've got the advanced section. So within the advanced section, what we can do is we can set the fields that it's going to look at when it's deciding how to reply to your prompt. Now, because I've selected the job, all of these fields are picked up as standard, but I can of course add new source fields in there as well. Then where do we want it saving back to? Well, I want this going back to my public description field, so that's in there. With Kyloe's AI Assist, you get multiple large language models, so that means you're not reliant on a single model. So should ChatGPT go down for a day, for example, we can switch over to Claude. Some models are better at some things than the others. So again, you set within here what runs as default, and then what do the users have as other options there as well. We've also got this file filter and note filter. Now this is really interesting. So what we can do is we can tell this to look at set file types or set note types just as default. So what we can do here is we could say, actually, for my job description, have a look and see if there's any file types meeting job description within here, added within the past, let's say 30 days, and I want it to grab the newest file first, and then actually I want this automatically included in the prompt, so the user doesn't actually need to specify that that needs to be added. It's just picked up automatically. Exact same process with notes there. Maybe you don't have a proper job description, you've just got the notes that you had with your client on the record. Again, we can tell it to be looking at that and picking that up. Other sections within here, we have test prompt. You might not want this to be visible in the front end yet, so up at the top here we can decide if something is visible to the front end users or if it's only available here within the admin section. Whilst I'm testing my prompts, I can give it an ID to test it again, see what that result looks like, and then tweak and play with it from there, and then decide if I want to give that to the other users by publishing it. The other buttons up at the top here are to then tie into the integrations we have between Data Tools and Awesome Docs. And then closing that down, the only other section within here is to then come ahead and edit the drop-down options. So again, you can add virtually whatever you want within there. You can type it in. Okay. Thank you very much for watching.